Much anticipated return of former Pistons coach Larry Brown coming back to Motown as the head coach of the New York Knicks. The Knicks and Pistons coming up on NBA Friday. Larry Brown went to Detroit to win the one trophy that had eluded him, an NBA title. In 2004, he and the Pistons delivered one over the Lakers. A very public breakup followed the 2005 season, but as always, Larry ended up on his feet and back home in New York. But that's where the storybook ending is not working out as planned. Meanwhile, back in Motown, Brown's old team has the NBA's best record without him. And welcome to the NBA on ESPN, Friday edition from the Palace of Auburn Hills, outside of Detroit, Michigan, home of the Pistons. The Pistons and the Knicks getting ready for an NBA Friday tip-off. I'm Mark Brown from our Bristol studios of ESPN, getting you ready for that opening tip-off. And the New York Knickerbockers come in with their 5-9 record. It's been a very slow start under new head coach Larry Brown, but they've been kind of getting things in order. They've not done well on the road this year, though. They're just 7 of 9 games on the road so far this season, and they've definitely got a road one coming up tonight. So Larry Brown coming out as head coach of the New York Knicks, 987 career wins. That's 4th on the all-time list, and he's a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame. How about Channing Frye, the number 8 pick overall by the Knicks in the 2005 draft, is working out just very well lately. He's last 5 games averaging 17 points, almost 7 rebounds per. He is now a member of the starting lineup, starting at power forward, and he's starting to show some reasons why the Knicks took him at the number 8 pick. Showing a nice face-up game, little post-ups as well. Channing Frye looks like a keeper. Nate Robinson was picked number 21 by Phoenix before being traded to the Knicks. He's working out as well. He is now in the starting lineup as well for the Knicks, so 2 rookies starting for New York. And we'll see if they can help turn things around. Richard Hamilton, the leading scorer for the Pistons, over 21 points a game. He's leading the NBA in three-point shooting percentage at almost 53%. You can see, though, he's only taken 19, so judicious use of the three. Last time out for the Pistons against the Nets, Rip the Nets for 30 points, having an outstanding season, shooting 52% overall as well. And Chauncey Billups, wow, he has had a significant improvement under new head coach Flip Saunders. Hey, he was a good player, but how about this? A career-high 8.2 assists per game and a 5.3 to 1 assist-to-turnover ratio. That's some good basketball for the Detroit backcourt. Working our way to the starting lineups and the opening tip. Knicks and Pistons from Motown coming up on NBA Friday. An emotional Larry Brown alongside Knicks president Isaiah Thomas. He himself a former Piston. And here's a look at the starting lineup for the Knicks. Stephon Marbury starting up there in the backcourt. Marbury averaging almost 18 points a game along with 6.5 assists. Billups and Hamilton, that outstanding backcourt for the Pistons. How about Big Ben Wallace getting things done up front? Ready for the opening tip. Let's join him out at the Palace.
They did it with a lot of those guys there, Larry Brown and Dave Hatters and Phil Ford, the assistants. So there's the reception as we get underway with the Knicks and Pistons here tonight.
It was Larry Brown who brought Rasheed Wallace as close to being in the real world as is possible.
See Joe DeRosa, Derek Richardson, Ned Malloy will throw it up as we get going here tonight. Pistons at 11-2 atop the Central best record in the NBA. The Knicks come in at 5-9. in 4th place in the Atlantic. And just to update you on the health of the Knicks, Maurice Taylor starts. Quentin Richardson back in the lineup after being out last game with back spasms. And Taylor, who went to high school in Detroit and went to the University of Michigan, hits the first goal of the game.
Larry Brown telling us that Maurice Taylor would start because this is his hometown.
Did that earlier this year with a couple of other players. One of the things Larry likes to do, the Pistons starting 5 on TV as much as Walton, so we don't need to introduce those guys. They have been a great run for the last couple of years. And Stephon Marbury leads it back the other way for New York with Malik Rose working at the other forward spot. Richardson stepped on the sideline and out of bounds. Piston ball. Here are the starters, Bill. As we mentioned, that familiar 5 for Detroit. The ever-changing Knicks starting lineup gets Richardson back in. Mo Taylor joining Davis Marbury and Malik Rose in his 10th year out of Drexel.
This is Larry Brown's 9th starting lineup, using more than a dozen different players, most in the league on both fronts.
Tayshaun Prince on the miss and Quentin Richardson with the rebound. It's a Knicks team with a lot of youth that has invigorated the franchise in some respects. We'll see those guys coming off the bench as Antonio Davis puts the Knicks up 4-0.
Seems as if the Piston players going over to welcome Larry Brown diffused the energy in the building here, and that has hurt the Pistons in their start here. Normally it's the Knicks who get off to horrendous starts.
Prince missed the first one, but got it back with the left hand to get Detroit on the board for the Eastern Conference Coach of the Month, the other coach here tonight. But Flip Saunders understands why he wears that title in his home building this evening. Place not full yet, although it is a sellout crowd. Phillips on Marbury, beautiful move. Back to his right by Johnson.
Mike, one of the reasons for this late arriving crowd is the horrific automobile accident just outside on Interstate 75. 4 fatalities, just tied up traffic. Took me an hour 45 minutes myself to get here tonight. The referees were late, players were late. It was awful.
And Quentin Richardson hitting that jumper to make it 6-4 New York. There is snow and snow squalls in the area, about 30 miles north of Detroit this afternoon, that caused the unfortunate accident and really slowed the commute. Rip goes all the way in, bodies going in every angle as Taylor took a shot across the head as he was prone, but the foul was called. We welcome the third member of our team tonight, Lisa Salters. Lisa.
Well, Mike, Larry Brown told me that he has been looking ahead to this game ever since the NBA schedule came out months ago, looking ahead to this game and dreading it. He said that he knows that it's going to be very difficult for him to be here in the Palace tonight and down on an opposing bench because he really believed that he would retire here. And he said that, particularly that the way things ended here for him, this is going to be a tough night for him.
Yeah, Lisa, there have been many familiar refrains over the last really 11 months. So we'll document later the timeline, the chronology of the Larry Brown soap opera. Needless to say, when all is said and done, on the Pistons side and on Larry Brown's side, probably what needed to happen happened at the end, each going their separate ways. I think both sides are happy in their new spots.
And both sides sticking to their story as to what went down.
Maurice Taylor lost it in the lane. Pistons break out 4-on-1, but Phillips threw it away as Rasheed Wallace was leaking down the right side.
The Detroit Pistons, the best in the NBA at a lot of things, including fewest turnovers per game. Chauncey Billups, who leads the NBA in assist-to-turnover ratio, a rare miscue there with the awful pass.
The Knicks on the opposite side, as Bill mentioned, the ever-changing starting lineups here early in the season. Taylor's shot comes up short. Larry Brown, not a big fan of many possessions that have limited passes. There you see taking care of the ball. The Pistons' fewest turnovers in the NBA. And Wallace with the miss. The Knicks, on the other hand, the most turnovers. Last they rank in the league and low in the assist number, and those are trademarks that Larry Brown teams don't normally have. And it's part of the adjustment period as Richardson quick triggers and puts New York back on top by 2.
One of the biggest problems, Mike, for Larry Brown is that this is not a thinking basketball team, the New York squad. And he demands that. It's one of the reasons why it's so difficult for these teams that he always goes to get started. Beautiful slash cut by Rip Hamilton.
And a chance for a three-point play as Quentin Richardson is called for the foul. He expresses his displeasure to Joe DeRosa.
The high UCLA cut off the screen by Rasheed Wallace and Rip Hamilton, who's having a career year across the board. If he doesn't make the All-Star team this year, I don't know if he ever will.
And Hamilton completes the three-point play, and that basket put him over 8,000 points in now his seventh NBA season. Nice take by Marbury right at Ben Wallace to put New York back on top. Marbury has a field goal, so do Taylor and Davis. Richardson has 4 as the Knicks have missed just once thus far.
Easily the best start in memory for the New York Knicks, who have just been getting pummeled in the opening moments of every game they've played up, even though they've won a couple of their last games.
Defensive 3 seconds called on the Knicks, so the automatic technical foul. And Chauncey Billups, annually one of the best shooters in the league, will come to the line. Quentin Richardson must have really missed not being in the last game because he has taken issue with 3 whistles now down here. He and Mo Taylor negotiating with Ed Malloy about the defensive 3-second call.
For Quentin Richardson, what a change. Playing for the Phoenix Suns last year where it's, hey, come out and just shoot threes every time you touch the ball. Now it's structure, now it's look over to the coach. And he is one of the guys who is really having one of the most difficult times under this new regime.
Wallace hands to Hamilton. Richard Hamilton has gotten off to a great start shooting the ball, shooting 52% from the field. Excellent from behind the line as well. Usually a poor three-point shooter on his career. Well, he grows, ill-advised. Pass is turned over. The Pistons will take over. Almost took off Larry Brown's head. Here are the Rip Hamilton numbers. Look at that bottom line jumping out, Bill. You mentioned the points are up. How about 53%? He's a career under 30% three-point shooter.
He doesn't take a lot. He's only taken 19 in the Baker's dozen games that they've played so far. Another turnover and a sloppy, careless play. Maybe the weather, maybe the traffic outside, and certainly the pressure of Larry Brown is taking its toll on this Pistons squad.
Unaffected Marbury, who has 3 assists and has hit both of his field goals for 4 points, all tied at 12. 5 minutes gone by here at the Palace. Pistons get set to start a road trip after tonight. Billups denied at the cup, and Marbury pushes the other way for New York. Nice finish by Richardson. Bring the familiar bang to the head for Q, and the Knicks are up by 2.
We can only hope that he doesn't suffer repetitive stress injury to the brain.
Is that what it would be?
Playing like the boxers. That's self-inflicted, though. Very sad. Nice passing, Rasheed Wallace.
2 Hamilton is off the mark. Ben Wallace fighting for it, but Maurice Taylor able to time his jump better. And Marbury a little shuffle look. And the Knicks will reset.
And to Stephon Marbury's credit, he's trying everything possible to make it work, as his career has not been what he hoped it had been, or that others thought that it would be.
Taylor fell asleep on Billups, gave him that little hesitation, able to draw the personal foul. And that's 2 on Maurice here in the early going, and we will see one of the best looking rookies in the first month of the NBA season come in for New York, Channing Frye out of Arizona.
Leading candidate for Rookie of the Year at this point, along with Chris Paul of the Oklahoma City Hornets. Channing Frye, just a real breath of fresh air, another Lute Olson protege, just doing a fabulous job in this league.
Wallace stepping out for 3. Pistons up by 1, and the Knicks will take a timeout here. Well, it wasn't too long ago, June of 2004, championship clinching night in this building, and the hugs as Ben Wallace and the Pistons raised the trophy with Larry Brown. Hugs of a different sort, some 18 months removed. Welcome back to the old coach. We'll talk about the chronology of Larry and the Pistons after this.
NBA Friday on ESPN is brought to you by Best Buy. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours. Well, the Motor City churning out those automobiles. Right now, 5:52 to play in the first quarter. The Pistons and the Knicks in a tight one. Detroit with a 1-point lead, and Larry Brown's return to Detroit, where he led them to 2 NBA Finals appearances. But let's look at the 2 coaches, as Flip Saunders now in his first season as head coach of the Pistons, and look at the differences in statistics. It's a better offensive team, at least as far as scoring points per game. And they are definitely shooting the ball better in both field goals and 3-point. They're also turning it over fewer times, just 11.6 turnovers a game. So early returns on the Flip Saunders reign, pretty good, replacing Larry Brown. And of course, that 2004 banner was brought to you by Larry Brown in his first season as the coach of the Pistons. Let's get you back out to the Palace of Auburn Hills.
That showed both sides weren't really into a long-term relationship at that point.
It was mind-boggling when that was going on because they were in the thick of a run for a second consecutive championship. And to bring that kind of distraction just was so disconcerting. Where it has just become all Larry Brown all the time. And seemingly, he likes it that way. Or else he'd put a stop to it.
Marbury takes Phillips down the lane. Nice lefty layup by Steph, who's off to a good start this evening. He has 6 points and 4 assists.
But the story doesn't stop there because today, Frank Isola from the Daily News comes out with the news story of Larry's ongoing health issues. And the timing of that story, the release on the same day that he comes, Larry Brown, to Detroit.
Larry, as Tayshaun Prince makes the hoop to push the Pistons back up 1, said that he has been to the doctor, to the hospital to get checked a couple of times in the last 3 weeks. The problems going back to the medical condition Larry suffered with last year. And a travel is called before the release of the shot, so the Pistons will take over. Larry, obviously the bladder problems coming off of an earlier surgery set him back, had to leave the Pistons for some time last year. It was discussed as if Larry might not be able to coach at all this season if he went through a certain medical procedure. That was not the case, but Larry did say to me before the game he thinks he will be able to coach the rest of the season, barring any other changes in his medical condition that you can't forecast. And then after the year, get involved with another medical procedure that he hopes would finally put all of these issues that have lingered for 2.5 years successfully behind him.
Larry has an unbelievable way of getting people to like him. And at the end of today, no matter what happens, people are going to walk out of here feeling sorry for Larry Brown. No matter who wins the game.
Hamilton the miss, Richardson the rebound. Pistons have opened 7 of 15. The Knicks have opened 8 of 13 from the field, and a foul on Ben Wallace out high. Well, Bill, he's done it with his track record, too. You can be very likable when you are a result producer. And Larry Brown has produced results at all levels of the sport. Player, Olympian, Olympics involvement with the USA basketball, collegiate and professional level, that everyone usually walks away saying, you know what? I am better for my time with Larry Brown as a teammate or a coach. Stays here with the Knicks, 17 to shoot.
Imagine, though, just for a moment if you can, that if the tables were turned and Larry Brown had left New York to come to Detroit here, how would the treatment and the scrutiny be different for Larry? Let me check with Pat Riley on the difference between being a savior and a traitor.
Marbury, a quick 3, Frye the nice rebound. Rasheed Wallace sends that back. Jamal Crawford and Trevor Ariza have checked in for the Knicks. And Joe DeRosa has a foul on Rasheed Wallace. Second on the Pistons. Knicks have 3 team fouls this far. Maurice Evans coming into the game for Detroit as Rip Hamilton went to the bench a moment ago. Pistons up 3. Neither team's had a large lead here in the first, mostly uneventful 8.5 minutes of the first quarter. Crawford, who comes off the terrific performance, 28 off the bench in the game at Chicago, or at home against Chicago, as the Knicks rallied to win that game to get their 5th victory on the season. Bill, this is a Knicks team that's hard to forecast and hard to figure right now because we haven't seen anything sort of settle in. No roles, no significant starting lineup consistency. Really, it's been patchwork for New York thus far.
Larry Brown does not like his team, but that's nothing new. He never likes even the teams he's coaching when they're winning the championship. He's always wanting to trade everybody, but this is a team that doesn't have a great point guard, doesn't have a great off guard, doesn't have a true small forward.
Ariza is missed, goes back in, and Davis credited for the tip. Pistons wanted offensive interference, not called.
The injuries to Eddie Curry, the injury to Jerome James, Quentin Richardson. You got 4 real nice young big men here in Curry, James, and Channing Frye, of course.
Wallace 3. He missed it. Tayshaun Prince able to get the rebound. He had a mismatch with Marbury. Beautiful find of Evans.
Complete breakdown defensively for New York. The stability at the point guard for Chauncey Billups.
Billups has 2 field goals and is assisted on 4 of the Knicks' other 7 as Crawford gets on the board with his first field goal. Pistons by 3. Here at the 2-minute mark, Detroit has not only played well at home, they have dominated teams at home, winning by an average of 17 points a game.
They're averaging 113 points a game in their outings here at the Palace at Auburn Hills.
Almost looks like a misprint if you remember Piston teams of the last few years. Wallace thought he had all ball as Frye went up, but the foul is called as Channing went to the cup.
Chuck Daly's probably spinning in his wheelchair, sitting rocking chair, saying, "What is going on here?"
Yeah.
Chuck is not in a wheelchair.
Chuck is not in a wheelchair.
Excuse
Take
me.
care.
I take that back.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to NBA Friday. The Pistons with a 3-point lead inside 2 minutes to play in the first quarter over the New York Knicks. Knicks coming in with that 5-9 record. Pistons an NBA best 11-2 on the season. And Larry Brown has not been a guy who's been known for playing rookies, as Isaiah Thomas is being acknowledged, the former Pistons guard who led them to 2 straight NBA championships. Getting a little wave back at the place that he used to perform so brilliantly for the Pistons. Championships in '89 and in '90. Well, Larry Brown isn't known for playing rookies a whole lot of minutes. David Robinson would certainly be an exception, almost 37 minutes a game. Other than him, Channing Frye is the next most played rookie on a Larry Brown team. And if you're looking for rookies who don't play for Larry Brown, well, how about Darko Milicic, who barely ever got off the bench. 3-point lead for Detroit. Let's get back out to first quarter action at the Palace.
For some of the key contributors of Pistons days gone by. Channing Frye at the line. He hits his first, and Lisa had a chance to visit with the rookie from Arizona earlier today. Lisa?
Well, Mike, 6'11", Channing Frye is comfortable with his body now, but it hasn't always been that way. He said that when he was in high school, he was so uncoordinated, they couldn't even run backwards, and that people always expected him to be better than he was because he was so tall. He said it wasn't until just a few years ago, his sophomore year in college, that he started to really know his body and to develop his skills as a basketball player.
Frye picks up the foul there. Bill, what has impressed you so far about the first 13 games with Channing Frye, scoring 14 points per?
I've known Channing Frye since high school from the Phoenix area. Then he went on to play for Lute Olson at the University of Arizona. So I have noticed the growth that Lisa was referring to. Like all the Arizona players, he thinks offense. He comes out there and he can fill it up. And that whole sense of not only with the University of Arizona Wildcats, but the Phoenix Suns, that whole state there is relentless attack. Play anywhere against anybody. We want the up and down game. We can fill it up. He is extremely athletic. He's got a remarkably great personality. He's so fun. I was a little embarrassed.
He's got a sweet dunk there.
I was talking to him before the game, and I was meeting some of the other new Knick rookies, and Channing's name is Little Sean because he looks just like Sean Elliott.
He does. He really does.
So everybody calls him in Arizona, they call him Little Sean. And so
back to this dunk.
On the back cut over the top, beautiful. No rotation by Ben Wallace whatsoever. A rarity there. Antonio McDyess just getting beaten badly on the back cut, particularly from someone who hasn't hit a perimeter shot there. But when the guys found out that his nickname was Little Sean, they went crazy on this current Knick team.
You beat him up. You hurt him, huh? Come on.
I think it's a cute name, and he looks exactly like Sean Elliott.
Ben Wallace hits a free throw. He's shooting 58% this year. He has one more. Certainly the facial resemblance. Ben goes 1 for 2. Trevor Ariza the rebound. By the way, Knick fans, that is actually Jerome James. He is back after injury. He's only played 18 minutes this season, has been battling injury. Told me pregame he felt pretty good. There he is getting the rebound. And obviously, he will be a little rusty. That's just his 6th shot attempt of the year. And Tayshaun Prince comes away with it for Detroit. All tied, final minute, first quarter.
Pistons are not taking care of their defensive backboard, and another turnover.
Marbury takes it. Billups chases him. And Stephon Marbury continues his fine quarter. 5 assists for Marbury to go with his 8 points.
Knicks have played a superior game. They've played smarter. They've played with more poise out there, and this is shocking because this is normally the type of game that Detroit just absolutely shines in.
Wallace, beautiful feed with Billups. There's 5 assists for Chauncey to go this 5 points here in the first quarter. Shot clock off. Last shot for New York here in the first.
Guys getting back cut time and time again defensively.
James is getting in Marbury's way more than setting screens for him here. Stephon finds Frye coming down the lane. Prince holds on to it till the light comes on. Would not have counted. And that ends the first quarter. The Knicks shoot 52% from the field. And nice job of sharing the ball. Both teams had 7 assists. Marbury led the Knicks, played the whole quarter, 8 points and 6 assists. Pistons had 6 assists on their 10 baskets, including that one to Wallace. New York by 2 after 1.
Well, the end of the first quarter, NBA Friday, the Knicks with a 2-point lead over the Pistons. Been an entertaining first quarter of action. Pistons have partnered with Allstate Insurance Agency to tip off their 3rd annual Good Hands, Warm Hands Mitten Drive to benefit the Salvation Army of Michigan. Fans can donate mittens during all Pistons home games until December 23rd. Every pair of mittens collected will be donated to the Salvation Army of Michigan to help keep families warm during the cold winter season. Alex Acker and Andrew Johnson were on hand to greet fans making donations before the game. Just another example of how the NBA cares. Get you back out to second quarter action at Auburn Hills.
For Detroit, trailing 28-26, Tayshaun Prince rounding out the 5 on the floor for the Pistons, and here's Evans.
Maurice Evans, Antonio McDyess, and Flip Saunders were all significantly late because of the serious traffic accident outside the Palace tonight.
Nice take, blocked by James. Billups cannot believe goaltending was not called on Jerome, who had the standout first quarters of that series against Sacramento while with Seattle last year.
Outstanding shot blocking, but please try to just guide it to your teammates. He's playing with a very heavily taped left thumb. It's more like a target than anything else out there. You walk out there, you check who's got the tape on and say, okay.
What's under it?
That's where we're going first.
Little Nate Robinson has checked in along with Carlos Arroyo in the game for the Knicks and the Pistons, respectively. James changes that shot. Milicic inside, and Darko, I think, is going to get some free throws here as Robinson, the rookie out of Washington, fouled Darko.
An indication of how well New York is playing as they have completely dominated here in the first going, and Darko Milicic can't finish strong at all. But with the Knicks having a +8 on the boards over Detroit and shooting 52%, that is unheard of in this building against this quality of a team, the Detroit Pistons, who I think with this current roster over the last 2.5 years, they've never played better than they're playing in this month now.
Darko goes 0 for 2, but Antonio McDyess bails him out with the rebound, and here is Evans for 3. Maurice Evans, who played 65 games with Sacramento, undrafted 27-year-old, has found his way through overseas trips and an earlier stint with Flip Saunders in Minnesota to a regular roster spot in the NBA.
Jerome James is ready to play. He's calling for that ball. He's flashing with a big target and going right to the hoop.
Nice spin on Darko, who, by the way, I noticed Darko was not one of the Pistons who went down to hug Larry Brown before the game. 30-29, Knicks by 1.
He was relegated to his familiar spot on the bench. But Darko's been getting earlier minutes than he ever got under Larry Brown.
Arroyo mishandles the turnover. James running the floor. Count it. with one. So Jerome James, who has been out because of injury, he is so enthused and playing with that enthusiasm that he showed in the Sacramento series last year.
And the industriousness that earned him that $30 million multi-year contract from Isaiah Thomas before they got Eddie Curry, the drop step just overpowering the outmatched Darko Milicic. And now a three-point play. And the New York Knicks are playing with the passion and pride that Isaiah Thomas used to bring to these big road games when he was tearing up the NBA.
Darko initiating the offense from up top. James got Hamilton's elbow in his face. And to go with that little boo-boo, a foul as well.
Foul number 31, Jerome James.
What do you think of Jerome James? Because he has said that he would like to bring that shot-blocking presence once he is healthy, that the Knicks are obviously craving, and if they can get both James and Eddie Curry, certainly it will be a presence. But you had to have some trepidation about signing a guy who had one playoff series to one grande deal.
That's why they come up with the rookie wage scale. But consistency of effort, that's what you always look for. And you can never predict how hard a guy is going to work. And after coming out of a very small school in Florida, just sort of finds his way into the NBA because of his size, and now all of a sudden they're just saying, hey, take this big pile of cash and then we'll find out if you can play.
He was certainly the off-the-radar event of the first round of the NBA playoffs last year. Nobody was expecting that. Frye going to posterize Milicic, and the foul is called.
Nice, strong body foul that time by Milicic. Not to injure, but just to prevent a spectacular throwdown by Channing Frye, whose quickness is supreme, his elevation. Channing Frye did not get a lot of opportunities like that because in college at Arizona, that's a guard-oriented system. All those guys, Jason Gardner, Gilbert Arenas, Salim Stoudemire, they're putting up shots in transition. You're a big man there for Lute Olson. you better be a nice rebounder and screener.
He has done a terrific job. And you mentioned Salim Stoudemire. In that recruiting class, which was the class of 2001, Salim Stoudemire was the stud player in that class, not Channing Frye. Arroyo hits it. Knicks lead is 2 minutes in, second quarter.
Nate Robinson, another real promising rookie, coming in at 5'9".
Listed at 5'9".
Well, everybody under 6'10" looks exactly the same to me, Mike.
All guys over 5'7" look the same to me. Nate's a tough 5'9". Good hoop there as he hangs. Boy, he hit that shot against Allen Iverson, and the Knicks getting the game-winning shot about a week or so ago. And he plays with a lot of enthusiasm and confidence, but Larry Brown told me before the game, for Nate, that was a good experience going up against Allen because he realizes how good you really have to be to survive in the league at that size. Every possession. Hamilton along the baseline.
As great as Allen Iverson is, people just have no clue what he goes through and what he does. Day in, day out at that size to just control so much of this league. The leading scorer in the NBA once again. 4 times already Iverson in his career has done that.
Jamal Crawford a 3, and the Knicks lead is 5. Piston fans have been entertained by the style of basketball they're playing, feeling almost liberated. That's been the word thrown around a lot. Their defense has been very kind here tonight. The Knicks are shooting 58%. What a tip by Evans. Maurice Evans, that's what he does. He just does everything that you are expecting somebody else to do.
If the Knicks play this well every game, they'll win the Atlantic Division.
They're going to win the division.
If they play like this every game.
Past the Nets.
Past the Nets, past Philadelphia, certainly past Boston.
Robinson in trouble. The nice find inside of Ariza. And we're going to count that as the hand may have gone through the basket. And we'll score the goal and give the credit to Ariza.
The Knicks are beating the NBA's best team on their court in a very important game and just taking it right to them, and that is the definition of goaltending. That used to be legal, by the way, when Bill Russell first started in basketball.
Hamilton on the miss. Jackie Butler, his second year.
And then they quickly realized that the final score would be 2-1.
With Darko running the floor and drawing the foul on Jackie Butler, as he did a good job hustling. So Milicic involved. The ball seems to find him whenever he's on the floor. Timeout. It's 30 miles north of America's Motor City, Knicks.
7:49 to play in the second quarter. The Knicks have grabbed a 5-point lead over the Pistons. Pistons at 11-2, the best record in the NBA. Meanwhile, the Knicks struggling, coming in at 5-9, trying to find their legs under new head coach Larry Brown. Sunday Night Football on ESPN coming your way this weekend. The Oakland Raiders are in San Diego to take on the Chargers. Chargers have faced a very tough schedule this year. Still have a pretty good record. They've dropped an awful lot of close games late. And, of course, they've got LaDainian Tomlinson. So you certainly will want to tune in for that. Jimmy Kimmel and Kid Rock are courtside to catch this one. Good matchup so far between the Knicks and the Pistons at the Palace of Auburn Hills. We're going to send you back out there for second quarter action with the team with the best record in the NBA trailing 42-37 in the second quarter.
Rasheed Wallace returns from the Detroit Pistons.
Season, as you know, 4-11. As Ariza is able to finish off the nice feed from Crawford. Tracy McGrady's absence. Bill, you were talking about this before, the opportunity for Yao Ming to present himself as a lead player, and he has not in the McGrady absence. Now, Tracy will come back and obviously give them a little shot, but still, that to me is one of the big surprises in the first month of the year.
Disappointing as can be, and what's it going to take to turn it around?
Milicic could not follow, but the ball was in the cylinder anyway, so on the basket interference, Knicks will take over.
Carlos Arroyo just throws it up there, and the over-enthusiasm of Darko Milicic cost his team yet another chance. Larry Brown, the decision to put Jerome James into this game. The guy's played 4 minutes, and the Knicks were +8 since he entered the game. And the Pistons' big men are just doing nothing. The Wallaces, McDyess, Milicic, only 6 points combined across the front line for the Pistons.
And you see the fast break points, big advantage for the Knicks, and that is different from what's happened this year. The Pistons have become more of a fast break team, more of an opportunity-taking team. To be honest, a more entertaining team to watch during the regular season.
And a more serious team about the importance of the home court advantage. And the way things stand right now, the Detroit Pistons would have the home court advantage over everybody throughout the entire playoffs, and that's a daunting challenge to everybody who's thinking about winning the championship this year.
Not if they play like this. Crawford knocks that down. Knicks have taken a 46-37 lead. Flip Saunders, who was concerned about how his team was going to respond and be over-emotional, instead they've been flat here tonight.
It's a full timeout, Detroit.
NBA Friday on ESPN is brought to you by Kia Motors, the power to surprise. And we got a little bit of a surprise going on right now. The Knicks haven't played very well on the road this year. Have a 9-point lead over the team with the best record in the NBA. 6.5 minutes to play in the first half. How are they doing it? Well, they're attacking the basket, taking it right at the strength of the Pistons' defense, which doesn't appear to be very strong at all tonight. Going straight to the hole, taking it right at Detroit. Let's get it back out to the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Back defensively as the UCLA legend Trevor Ariza just gets fast break point after fast break points, which are dominated by the Knicks right now. Points in the paint, 22 to 14. That's +8 for New York. but the execution early on was awful for New York. They had 5 early turnovers, but they've had none in the last 10 minutes as Larry Brown has gone deep through his roster.
Pistons have gone back to their familiar starting 5. Jackie Butler comes to double Rasheed Wallace, and Tayshaun put his shoulder down, was able to draw the foul on Reason.
When you look at what the Knicks have done this quarter, Mike, shooting 7 for 9. They've got 5 assists, 0 turnovers, and it's been done by the entire bench. None of the starters are out there right now, and that's not surprising because Larry Brown uses his starting 5 less than any other coach in the entire NBA.
Larry was questioning if that was in the act of shooting. Joe DeRosa said yes, it was. He was reaching from underneath, so one more coming for Prince, who makes them both. Bill, do you think that Larry Brown will rely on the bench as much if they get healthy and in December or January settle in on a starting 5?
No. Because things are going to change after December 15th in the league when all the free agents who signed can be traded. And with a $124 million payroll, Isaiah Thomas has got a lot of issues to face. Highest in the league.
Wallace takes Frye to school, and the Pistons back within 5 and extend the defensive end.
And I love the way Ben Wallace stays in the backcourt to deny penetration to Stephon Marbury to disrupt the Knicks' offensive flow. I never thought I'd say that. Knicks' offensive flow.
They've looked very good tonight. Crawford shut off up top. Frye from the outside. Rasheed Wallace comes to get the rebound. His first on the night.
But the Knicks are playing better ball than they played at any point during the course of this season.
It's early, and not only has it been a learning process with so many young players, beautiful cut by Prince. The Pistons have put up 3 hoops in a row and cut it down to a 3-point lead. And Larry Brown's going to take a timeout to pull the plug on this 6-0 run. The Knicks have played so many road games that you see 9 of those initial 14 games. And even when they've been home, they haven't had the back-to-backs. So they haven't had the time to really practice and get themselves settled in. Be right back.
A 3-point lead now for the Knicks in Larry Brown's return to Detroit, to the team that he brought to the NBA title in 2004 and to the finals again last year before a somewhat messy departure. And a reminder for our Latin American and ESPN Deportes audience, Wilfredo Gomez, considered one of the Puerto Rico's best boxers ever, will be featured on our next edition of Perfiles. Check the time in your area of the world. See that right here on ESPN.
Successful run with the Timberwolves.
Well, Mike, Flip Saunders says the biggest question that he had about taking over this team was how are players going to receive him? He was concerned that players might have this attitude, hey, we won a championship, we've gone 2 consecutive years to the finals, what do you have to show us? Saunders says that those doubts were over 2 to 3 days into training camp. He says he told players what he wanted them to do, and simply they responded. There was no we used to do it this way or Larry Brown did it that way. Just, okay, coach.
And open up the offense a little bit. Nice job from Rasheed to Ben Wallace, back to a 3-point game.
And following up on Lisa's point, one of the great advantages that Flip Saunders had was the relationship that he has with Chauncey Billups. Chauncey playing for Flip Saunders, really getting his career on track there. Because Chauncey Billups, he gave the credibility and validity to what Flip Saunders brings.
Maurice Taylor, who got the start tonight. Henry Ford High School in Detroit, University of Michigan for a couple. 5-point lead, 50-45. It was 2001-2002, that 6-team odyssey that the Piston point guard Chauncey Billups has been on. He got the time to spend with Flip Saunders, and you know, players speak players' language. Missed by Hamilton, Prince keeps the possession going, and Chauncey was able to tell the players, and there's a great trust amongst the 5 on the floor here for Detroit. He was able to tell him all about what Flip Saunders was really like. Nice hesitation, Hamilton, a 3.
And it doesn't hurt when you have Joe Dumars as director of basketball operations, who does all the policing, will never let anything get out of control.
Lots of people in lots of professional sports, as Ariza misses, command respect. I don't know if anybody commands more respect in his role in running the day-to-day operations of an organization than Joe Dumars does. Ben Wallace couldn't finish. No bigs back for Detroit. The Knicks could push it to the goal. Crawford goes right there, and Chauncey Billups called for the foul as Jamal had good recognition of the situation there.
And it was Joe Dumars' vision in putting John Hammond next to him, his assistant. There's John Hammond right there. But Joe Dumars' decision and vision to sign Chauncey Billups when really nobody else wanted him, to trade for Rip Hamilton when they had Jerry Stackhouse here, the big move to get Rasheed Wallace when he was the league's pariah, the insistence on Ben Wallace and the loss of Grant Hill when Grant Hill went down there, and if Grant Hill had taken 1 year less on his contract, Orlando could have kept Ben Wallace.
He's made many successful moves, and I think what happens around here, at least, is a lot of them are under the radar. Joe Dumars is not calling attention to himself. You talked about Larry Brown at the start of the night. That kind of opposite did work well together for the two. They were able to balance off each other. Even some comments that were made in regards to Larry's return and what happened, the process along the divorce, as Billups goes to Rasheed Wallace, but is called for the offensive foul, drawn inside by Maurice Taylor. Joe Dumars, when
One half of basketball in the books on NBA Friday on ESPN. Mark Brown with you from our Bristol studios of ESPN. Let's take you back to some first half highlights. Knicks Pistons, entertaining first half. Q Richardson getting the jumper early, put the Knicks up by a deuce. Watch Chauncey Billups. Career high in assists this season. Averaging over 8 a game, finds Rip Hamilton. He had 19 points in the first half, did Rip. How about Maurice Evans? Look at this. Nobody guarding him. He slams it home. Detroit had the 5-point advantage in the first. And the Knicks getting Jamal Crawford looking for Frye. One hand alley-oop jam. Knicks had the 1-point lead. Jamal Crawford came off the bench. Crawford 13 points off the Knicks bench in the first half, hits the jumper. The Knicks had a 9-point lead. Pistons would come back though. Chauncey Billups, one of his 8 first half assists, setting things up nicely off the screen and roll, finds Tayshaun Prince, 2 of his 13. Hit the free throw to tie it up at 54, and right now we're all even at 59, ready to get going in the second half. Both teams shooting extremely well. 51% for the Knicks, 55% for the Pistons. Knicks getting a great effort off the bench and in transition, beating the Pistons in both those categories soundly. Can Larry Brown get a victory in his return to Motown? Well, we got 2 more quarters to find out. 59 apiece. Let's get back out to the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Former players go up against him, and he always saw those guys line it up for 25 or 30 points, and he was kind of expecting the Pistons to come out with a little too much, not a little flat tonight.
He told us that Stephon Marbury, ever since they traded him away years ago from Minnesota, that Stephon Marbury has just torched Flip every single time, and that has not been the case tonight for Flip's new players. Chauncey Billups, a very quiet first half with 5 points, but Marbury in the games versus Flip Saunders, 27 points on near 50% shooting.
Malik Rose picked up the foul, Bill. It's his second. Hamilton short with his first shot. And Mo Taylor, who got the start because he's from Detroit and went to school at Michigan. On his return here tonight, Larry Brown puts Mo Taylor into the starting lineup, and he starts the second half, as do the other 9 game starters. Malik Rose, Tayshaun Prince says he hooked me.
He kept both hands on the ball, though. And so when the hook is with the elbow and you have both hands on the ball, they are not going to call that. First blood here in the third for New York. A great sign for Larry Brown.
Nice job by Hamilton. Give Billups assist number 9 to go with his 5 points. Richard has 21. We're tied at 61.
When that cutter comes off the UCLA high post slash cut, the big man defending the screener has to step over and bump the cutter.
Rose, he used the left arm that time, and that was easy for Joe DeRosa. So trying to take advantage of the strength of Malik Rose on Tayshaun Prince. Got the first one, not the second.
But if your offensive scheme is to back down your small forward time and time against this one-time removed world championship squad, you are not going to be successful. Go back to the ball movement, the quick hitting attack that was so prevalent in the first half of beautiful basketball.
Rasheed Wallace blowing on his hands as if he's ready to warm himself up. Quentin Richardson trying to fight through the screen, ended up picking up the foul, and it's going to be a couple here. 3 on the Knicks.
First half,
2 on the Knicks.
Pistons shoot 55%. The Knicks over at 50% as well. That's a rarity in today's game. Assists even. +5 on the backboards for the visiting Knicks.
Hamilton knocks down another one. 8 of 14 from the field. He has 23. And Detroit back on top. In a while since they've been in the league. Here is Richardson. It doesn't even look like the same guy out there relative to Steve Nash teeing him up behind the line in Phoenix. Prince lucky to find Rasheed Wallace, who finds a cutting Hamilton.
Shades of Meadowlark Lemon. Where's the ball? When you keep moving on this Piston squad, good things are going to happen. It's when they stand around and start pounding that dribble too much that they get in trouble.
Hamilton has all 6 points for Detroit here in this half. An ill-advised shot there, saved by Davis, but right to Hamilton. 2 trailers. Prince one of them.
Rip Hamilton made the defensive play that time, forcing the errant pass over the top.
Taylor stops Prince, 12 to shoot.
This is a mismatch.
Prince, nicknamed Inspector Gadget at times, the ability for that arm to seemingly extend endlessly. Rare to see him actually come up short, and he did there.
Well, Maurice Taylor cannot guard Tayshaun Prince on the perimeter. If Tayshaun Prince is going to just be a post-up player, that's a much different situation.
Prince will come to the line. Larry Brown got Tayshaun into the lineup early on because he was a 4-year experienced player at Kentucky. And now he's got that with Channing Frye, too, 4-year experienced player at Arizona. We talked about David Lee is on the Knicks bench, a young man out of Florida who came into the Chicago pre-draft camp, really worked his way into being a pick in the bottom end of the first round as Frye was taken earlier. But those 4-year college players come to the NBA so much more prepared to contribute immediately, and you're seeing some of that with Frye and obviously Prince as he's fit right in.
In addition to the years, Mike, it's also the coach. You got Lute Olson, you got Tubby Smith. Nate Robinson played for Lorenzo Romar out of University of Washington.
Come ready to play. The Malik Rose quarter is not pretty so far. He had the 1 dunk, but he has 3 misses, a couple of fouls. Marbury has to dump it back to Richardson, who has the whole shot clock to work with.
The offense looks ragged right now, missing the crispness that we saw early.
Richardson on the take. Can't get the old-fashioned 3-point play, but he'll have free throws coming up. Here are the Knick rookies and the players taken on draft day, and add the assist total there to Robinson. What they've brought, Bill, is an excitement, an enthusiasm. You know, the Knicks, because of the high ticket at the Garden, because they, like the Lakers, are always prominent in the league, there was almost the feeling as if you can never rebuild. And let's be honest, they've got a lot of veterans who are making a lot of money, so they're not in full rebuild mode. We're not talking the Atlanta Hawks here right now. But those 3 guys there, they've given the Knicks excitement. And I believe, having lived in New York for a while growing up, New York would embrace a team that's 41 and 41 that works its tail off every night and makes people come to the Garden and shows passion on that great floor, as opposed to a 45-win bunch of underachieving veterans. I think you can do it in New York for a little while.
I second that emotion completely. Fans want effort. Beautiful passing.
And Wallace is fouled by Antonio Davis.
The offense is being initiated by Rasheed Wallace here early in the third, who has the ball in that low, extended post-up position. And then the penetration, this is where the Knicks really get into trouble. They're not a good defensive team, but if the guards give up penetration time and time again, it's really going to exploit the liabilities that so many of these Knick players have as individuals.
One more free throw coming for Ben Wallace. Team fouls in this quarter already in the first 3:20. 4 on the Knicks, 1 on the Pistons.
Oh.
Wallace comes up short, 1 of 2.
Just missed.
It always looks pretty going up when Ben shoots it. The results have improved slightly as the years have gone on, but he still gets into stretches where it gets into his head, and it's a big struggle. Taylor on Rasheed Wallace. Good job by Maurice Taylor. Now in his 8th year out of Michigan. Remember all the time that he missed going back to the Achilles problem. And, it's come back to be a role player and contributor with a couple of different teams now.
And if Maurice Taylor can play like this every game, then his career will get back on track.
Prince up top.
The problems in Houston, the problems with the Clippers. Many people were just stunned when Isaiah Thomas traded for Maurice Taylor, whose careers just seemed to be over sitting on the end of the bench in Houston.
First-round pick in the middle of the first round, and signed that huge free agent deal, 6 years and $46 million, tore his Achilles and missed 2002. You mentioned the substance abuse, 5-game suspension back in 2002, part of the problems. But Taylor, after the Achilles injury, came back, good citizen, good performer as a veteran during his time with Houston, now helping the Knicks here as they fall behind by 4.
Right now, the Pistons with a 68-64 lead, just under 8 minutes to play in the third quarter. NBA Friday on ESPN. Larry Brown, the head coach of the Knicks. Well, that's going to take us a while to get through this resume. He has been around a bit, first with the ABA, winning an ABA championship, and also the head coach of the UCLA Bruins in college basketball. Then a stint with the Nets before back to the Kansas Jayhawks, where he won an NCAA title in 1988. Back to the NBA for the Spurs, Clippers, Pacers, Sixers, and then Detroit Pistons. He is currently the coach of the New York Knicks. He is the only coach in history to have won both an NCAA title as a head coach and an NBA title as a head coach. Larry Brown, he is now pretty much officially done it all, a member of the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame as well, inducted in 2002. Let's get you back out to the Palace of Auburn Hills. 7:53 to play in the third quarter. Detroit with a 4-point lead over the Knicks.
That was Will Robinson in the red sweater that Isaiah insisted on bringing. Not just a local legend here, but also had an instrumental role in Doug Collins' basketball career. Will Robinson coached Doug at Illinois State.
A wonderful presence around here. George, one of the deans of NBA broadcasters, and all around for the glory days of this franchise. Billups a 3, off the mark, rebounded by Taylor. The glory days of the franchise, the back-to-back titles in 89 and 90. And Larry Brown came and took the starting 5 and added to it in 2004. 1 game short of a repeat last year, San Antonio winning Game 7 at the SBC Center in the finals. And the Pistons players, Rip Hamilton specifically, telling us earlier today, we learned last year, having to win Game 7 in Miami and then losing Game 7 in San Antonio, how much that home court could mean. So every game, including December 2nd against the Knicks, really has an important quality. Quentin Richardson back the other way for the Knicks in the backcourt with Marbury, Rose, Davis, Taylor up front. And here come the Pistons.
Consecutive drives by Stephon Marbury. Nothing in return. Chauncey Billups trying to get into the Meadowlark routine here.
And it tees up Tayshaun Prince.
The Knicks have to be extremely careful right now because the offense is starting to come together. They're getting that free flow that we've come to recognize from Flip Saunders' liberation scheme here.
The liberation offense. 11-5 the score here in the quarter. Pistons were down 9 in the second. Now they're up by 6. Reset the shot clock since it was under 14. It'll go up to 14.
In transition, great point guard play. Come to a stop at the foul line. Come all the way around. The guy's just backing off you. And nobody really playing any defense for the Knicks on any member of the Pistons in that transition opportunity.
Knicks are 2 of 8 from the field here in the quarter. Prince has 17, Hamilton 25. It's been a very quiet night for Detroit's Rasheed Wallace. 21 minutes, only 3 points and 2 rebounds. Marbury tripped at the top, and the foul is called on Billups.
But as Larry Brown likes the attention, Rasheed Wallace wants no part of it. There's Bill Lambier.
That's right.
Another member of the retired players, Rick Mahorn, the Bad Boys, the Bruisers. Oh, my back. Oh, yeah, it still hurts, Mark.
There's Mark Aguirre, who's now a Knicks assistant coach, and there's a theme here. You see those 3 guys. There are a couple of others in the building you've already seen during our broadcast. And we have the entire starting 5 from the first Pistons championship here at the Palace tonight in the building at the same time. McDyess set up down low on Channing Frye, who's in off the bench. Let's see if those young guys can give the Knicks a little push on the offensive end, and a foul is called as Hamilton came across. It's on Marbury.
And when we showed the picture of Mark Aguirre, let's never discount that he was the guy that put the Pistons over the top when they traded Dantley and brought in Mark Aguirre. Right? What a great player. Could do everything. You could run the offense through him. He could score. He could rebound. Certainly pass with the best of them, the two-time champions.
When you go back in Piston history, although different players, very different type players, you'll talk about Aguirre and Rasheed Wallace, their additions being the over-the-top point for those teams. Isaiah Thomas's name there, Joe Dumars, you see all 5 of the starters from that first championship team. It is only, Bill, as there's Zeke down in the runway, as he likes to watch the game from there, the second time that those 5 have been in the building at the same time. They had a 10-year reunion of the title team back some 6 years ago, but with all the circumstances of Isaiah's, Knicks being honored tonight, Aguirre the assistant, Lamb and Mahorn, they're here like every night.
But that's really kind of sad because the best part about being on a team is your friends. And when you only get together twice in all those years.
Crawford the miss, the rebound by Ben Wallace. Carlos Arroyo and Antonio McDyess joined Prince Wallace and Hamilton for Detroit.
George Blaha called Isaiah Thomas in the halftime ceremony the greatest pound-for-pound basketball player in the history of the game. Isaiah's playoff record was 70 and 43.
Ben Wallace on the take. This is the largest lead of the night for Detroit. Knicks led by 9 in the second quarter. Now it is a 9-point Detroit lead here in the third. Marbury trying to make something happen, turned it over, and traveling is called.
The Knicks are playing as if they were satisfied with being tied at the
Yes.
Larry Brown is not about moral victories.
And the Pistons are playing as if, okay, enough of that. We need to tighten up defensively. They forced more turnovers. Knicks shooting a low percentage here in the third. And it's 14-5 Pistons on the scoreboard in this frame. Hamilton, a little fake on Crawford. Rimmed out. And Ariza gets the rebound.
Very dangerous dump back pass.
Carlos Arroyo keeping the defensive pressure.
Stephon Marbury has not had the flawless game here in the third that he had in the first half.
Arroyo's called for the foul. Well, you mentioned what George Blaha said about Isaiah Thomas. Can you think of a better pound-for-pound player? I'll give you a while to think about that. That's a tough one. I don't want to hit you across the side of the head with that one.
I don't care how much you weighed. The greatest player I ever played against by far was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Do you have an all-time team, the Walton all-time 5?
Yes, but some of the members of that team I did not play against.
That's okay. I just want the Walton all-time. Here's Robinson, a rainbow 3 off the mark. Piston ball.
You want it right now?
Oh, you want to wait? You have them all at the top of your head? There's a lot in there. I don't know how sudden the recall is.
Well, it's Flashback Friday, so we're right there. Russell at center, Bird and McHale at forwards, Magic and Jordan at the guards.
Ben Wallace up top, lost it.
Oh, stick a fork in it, Ben, please.
5 to shoot. Hamilton threw it away. Frye controls it and hands off to a guy who we competed against in the Pac-10, Nate Robinson. Here goes little Nate. He gives such energy. Comes from great athletic stock. His dad, a wonderful football player in his collegiate days. 4 feed by Crawford. 4-on-2 for Detroit. Hamilton. He is so good at that.
But the Knicks have fallen apart offensively. Sorry for interrupting there, Mike. It's a desperation time, and Larry Brown realizes it instantly and has to call a timeout. New York scoreless in the last 4 minutes, 40 seconds. Please make a shot.
You are a Hall of Famer. You can interrupt me anytime you want. Your words are more important than mine, my friend. So
I just
good.
get excited.
You interrupted me again, you see?
Sorry.
We'll settle this in a break.
NBA Friday on ESPN is brought to you by EA Sports Need for Speed. Most wanted. He wants it. Well, the Pistons starting to restore some order at home over the Knicks. It's been a tight one throughout, but a nice little run for the Pistons in the third quarter has them now on top by 11 points, their largest lead of the game. Best record in the NBA, 11-2 coming in for the Pistons. And our ESPN Deportes audience will see immediately following this one the Cavaliers in Seattle against the Supersonics. Kim James and company, LeBron, taking care of business for the Cavs. Let's get you back out to the Palace at Auburn Hills.
Possession really for the New York Knicks. Since then, the Knicks have missed 11 of their 12 shots as their field goal percentage is plummeting, now down below 45%. They've been well above 50 for the entire game.
And they come out with Crawford, Jerome James, and then 3 young players in Ariza, Frye, and Robinson. James, first game back, showed some offense in the first half. He's off the mark, and Prince keeps it alive for Detroit. Hamilton, nice job by Crawford to knock it away. Piston ball.
Crawford needs to become a better defender. And this is a guy who has spent so much of his career just focusing on jacking up threes. Coming into this season, Jamal Crawford had taken 800 more three-point shots than free throws. He's turned that around a bit this season under Larry Brown.
As we said, we don't give out MVPs in November. let's see the season shake out. Knicks will get it back. Jamal Crawford. And that 28-point night we mentioned. There's the numbers to back up what you were talking about, Bill.
So you don't think that Ben Wallace has a chance to be MVP of the NBA? You don't?
Fouled.
What if they go 70-12?
This is a team that had no All-Stars last year.
He's a 3-time All-Star. He's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year.
In the selection All-Stars situation, Ben Wallace doesn't score enough to be the MVP of the league. Just not the way the MVP would be voted.
Bill Russell was a 5-time.
Bill Russell is not Ben
five-time
Wallace.
MVP.
Come on.
Bill Russell was a 5-time MVP.
I know that, but
Okay.
you're not going to compare Bill Russell's impact on the game and Ben Wallace's, are you? And I'm not disrespecting Ben Wallace, but...
Well, Bill Russell's my favorite player ever.
Okay, so why am I defending your argument? Marbury's first point since the first quarter. Get it back to a 10-point lead for the Pistons, 75-65. Detroit trailed by 2 after 1. We were tied at the break. It's been all Pistons here in the third. Arroyo gives to Prince, 5 to shoot. Hamilton, toe of the tape, 2 for Rip, and Detroit up a dozen.
Rip Hamilton, 11 for 19 shooting on the night. But it's not just the Knick offense that has vanished. The defense, the ability to contain individually, which is the hallmark of Larry Brown teams, is not happening right now.
Nice job by Ariza. It's a fine Frye on the baseline. And it's back to 10.
Now this is an interesting lineup for Larry Brown here. You got the big guy, Jerome James. You got Channing Frye and Trevor Ariza with some athleticism and skill on the wings. And then you got the Gunners in the backcourt who can put some points on the board.
Prince with the advantage on Marbury. Loose baseline, the help ball comes. Jerome James actually did more harm to Marbury, and a shot clock violation is called.
On those type of plays, that's how you get hurt, by your own teammates, because those are the guys you don't keep track of.
Here comes Jerome.
Whoa, that hurts. But Stephon Marbury, who has missed 1 game in the last 5 years, one of the most durable players in the history of the NBA.
259 in a row tonight, 5th active NBA consecutive games played. Maurice Peterson at 295. Here is James. I don't think that's the shot that you would request out of Jerome.
But one of the challenges for Larry Brown is going to be to find a productive forward combination. No team in the entire league has a less productive forward combo than New York.
Well, Rip Hamilton's on his way to a huge night. He already has 32, season high 37. And the Pistons back up a dozen. Marbury hoisted. This has just been an awful quarter. As good as the Knicks were in the late first, early second. Look at Arroyo in the show and go, but he wrapped his arm. It's going to be called for a foul.
You learn those type of moves on the playground. And how you practice carries over to how you play in the game.
Arroyo, part of the Puerto Rican national team that made it through qualifying in 03 and participated in the 04 Olympics.
They beat the U.S. in Athens.
Yep, there you see the score, 92-73.
24 points for Carlos in that game.
With Flip Saunders, you're talking about benches and working units together. It'd be very interesting to see as December goes through what kind of a productivity level and comfort level Saunders finds with both Carloses, Carlos Arroyo and Carlos Delfino. Delfino, the second-year man out of Argentina, who was bothered by a knee injury last year.
But what Flip Saunders likes about Delfino and Arroyo is that they're both creative and imaginative players.
Wallace
Now,
over James.
I believe that's in your face, Mike Tirico.
Oh, is this boosting his MVP candidacy
After
right
you
there?
just dissed the guy, you just totally discounted his contributions.
Look at him,
and now
Bill.
he's taking over.
Put him in the Hall of Fame. Get him to Springfield. Hamilton. Off the mark, Arroyo kept it alive. McDice.
Now it's happening. Larry Brown, all he can do is applaud his teammate and say, hey, his team, and say, come on, guys, do something out there. But this is all Detroit at this point. 24-8, Detroit in the quarter. Oh, my.
Hamilton out hounding Marbury. Arroyo battling with Robinson, and a foul is called on the Knicks.
On Nate Robinson over there right in front of the Piston bench. And now Nate Robinson, he better stay away from his referee Joe DeRosa. Chauncey Billups just having a good laugh here.
Flip Saunders going to take a 20-second timeout. No. We're going to take a full timeout here. Timeout. Pistons. 6.1 left in the third. They had
Home of the Detroit Pistons with their 11-2 record, best in the NBA, hosting the New York Knicks tonight for much of this game. And the Knicks have fought valiantly, but Pistons have grabbed control of it and threatening to run away with it. Final 6 seconds of the third quarter, 83-67 is the Pistons' lead. Let's get it back out to the Palace.
The mentality of the franchise and that acceptance of mediocrity, the acceptance of losing.
Hamilton almost beats the clock there at the end of the third quarter. 3 of 17 in the quarter for the Knicks. They played a good first quarter, a good first half. At halftime, Pistons legend, the Knicks president, Isaiah Thomas, was honored, and shades of the Isaiah Knicks, how they dominated and controlled the third. Richard Hamilton has 32, and the Pistons lead by 16.
Well, LeBron James and the Cavaliers are on the West Coast in Seattle, getting ready to take on the Supersonics. Our ESPN Deportes audience will see that one immediately following the conclusion of the Knicks and Pistons going on at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Right now, the Pistons will take a 16-point advantage into the fourth quarter. This game was tied 59 all at halftime, but a tremendous third quarter by the Pistons with a 24-8 run in that third quarter to take control of this now in the fourth. We're going to send you back out to Mike Tirico at Auburn Hills.
See you.
Well, the reason I came is to make sure everyone focused, get back to hating Larry Brown and forget about this. That's my goal.
Nice timing
Here. Thank you.
He does this comedic timing. He's good at.
Yeah.
What we've been doing is the amateur.
I've been on the show before.
You've been on the
yeah,
show.
absolutely.
He was wonderful. He was wonderful. He sang, he danced, he did the whole thing.
So, are you extending an olive branch of apology on this visit?
I am. I have
To Metro
apologized. I'm here to mend the wounds and heal whatever pain that remains. And we're going to do our show for a full week leading up to the Super Bowl. here in Detroit at the
that'll
end of
be
January.
great. That'll be
Wow,
great.
right here in Detroit?
Right here in Detroit. We're going to do a week of shows.
Well, you got to get Mike on.
Antonio McNice to make it to 85.
You haven't been on the show,
67.
Mike?
I've never been. I watched his show.
Mike's not welcome on the show after what he did to me.
Oh, it's my fault.
Again.
All I did was point out that it may have been a sensitive point.
Yes, you should have told me beforehand. Thanks a lot.
Here come the Pistons back the other way with Prince to Ben Wallace. And a foul. Do you get to many Laker games in L.A.?
I don't go to too many because we do the show right about that time. So, also I'm not usually invited to Laker games either. That's the thing is I'm not just unpopular here in Detroit. I'm unpopular in almost every NBA city.
Now we've become familiar. We've seen you on Monday nights.
Yes.
At halftime, you have an association with football over the years. As Wallace misses that first one, just grazing the rim. Is football your favorite sport, or do you like basketball, baseball, and the other pro sports?
I don't like any of them, to be honest
None.
with you. I'm
Nice.
looking forward to this ice skating competition they're going to do on Fox. Celebrities ice skating, yeah, that's my thing. No, I like baseball, actually, is my number one sport, but I like all of them.
You know, speaking of celebrities doing this, how about you on Dancing with the Stars?
I
think
am
that
not
would be
much
good.
of a dancer, I tell you.
Now, see, that's probably the strongest point of my game. Dancing.
Really? With the Stars? Not with the Stars.
That whole Holyfield thing. McNice, a great block on Marbury. Do you have as much fun as I would imagine in watching the various satellite news channels and seeing all your material essentially grow right in front of you?
Well, there's so many channels and there's so many stupid things that happen every day. One of them is when celebrities get in the middle of a sporting event and then interrupt it to promote their stupid shows.
I mean, when they come on.
Yeah,
and
they
just
come on,
kinda, yeah.
and the announcers are forced to talk to them, and they're trying to watch the game out of the corner of their eye. And really, it's a blowout, so who cares? But, you know, I mean, there are people that have money on this game, and there's a line of 12 points. So there's still something important here. And that line is protected.
Arroyo the hoop there. It's a 19-point lead. I saw you sitting.
Nothing of what you're speaking.
Of course not.
I saw you sitting with Kid Rock. Did you guys know each other before tonight?
Actually, we lived together for a time. No, we're doing an album together, Christmas songs, all duets. He's been on the show a couple of times, but we don't know each other that well, I have to
That's
say.
nice. The third answer is the serious one. I'm
Yes,
getting your
that's how I
pattern
go.
here. Ben Wallace takes that one away. The Knicks have scraped 10 points in the half. Evans could not track that down.
Jimmy, how did the fans treat you tonight? We saw what happened with Larry Brown when he comes back, and how about with you?
I've been treated well. I think I've been treated even better than Larry. Everybody seems okay with me. I'm really relieved because I have a lot of security here tonight. There are snipers in every corner of this building.
I think you really came back on Larry's night back, trying to sneak under the radar. I think that was.
I wish I had good timing like that.
cowardly of you.
I wish I was like Nick and Jessica announcing my divorce the day before Thanksgiving, but it's honestly I just happen to be
Just an
available
accident.
today.
If he was sneaking back, he would not be sitting in the front row next to
Very
Kid
good point.
Rock.
That's a very good point. So your show will be from Detroit the week of the Super Bowl.
That is right, yes.
Where's it going to be? What theater? What?
The Gem Theater.
I
Yes.
haven't been there. Is it nice?
It's a beautiful theater. It's a historic theater, as a matter of fact.
Checking out Stephon Marbury, who took a shot from Jerome James earlier and having trouble getting focused here.
I don't blame him. I go home too at this point.
That's why we had you. As you see, Marbury and the Knicks have struggled offensively here in the second half. Well, Jimmy, we appreciate you stopping by. Wish you the best of luck. We look forward to seeing you Super Bowl week. Of course, it leads up to the Super Bowl on ABC, Super Bowl 40 in Detroit. It'd be great to have you in town.
I appreciate it. And if you guys want to go get some tattoos, me and Kid Rock are headed out after the show.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, we'll get tattooed up. It'll be great. We'll get each other's names on our bodies.
Kid Kimmel.
I'm disassociating myself from this conspiracy immediately.
I don't blame you.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks,
Great
fellas.
seeing you.
Jimmy, thanks for coming by. Always a pleasure to see you.
Turnover by the Pistons, and the Knicks will take it back with 9.5 left. Leading scorer tonight, Richard Hamilton, 32 points for Detroit. Tayshaun Prince, 17. Off the bench, Frye and Crawford, both in the game for the Knicks, have 13. Jackie Butler is checked in as well.
The amazing thing, when I look at the scoreboard, the Knicks had 59 points at the half.
I know. And Marbury taking the worst of that shot earlier. He got beat up a couple of times, one by his own team, one in the fray. Here earlier in the fourth. Nathan Robinson on the pull-up. Arroyo hit him on the arm.
Remember when the Knicks were playing so well earlier this evening and they were moving the ball and penetration and dish and getting on the offensive glass? all that has disappeared, and now they're having to go one-on-one off their own dribble. And you have no chance against this great Piston team.
And you see Saturday, that game winner against Iverson and the Sixers. He will have up and down games, but Nate Robinson, certainly a big impact guy in his days at college as Steph.
When I was talking with Larry Brown in the locker room before the game, he was telling me on that game at the end of regulation, which he won, Robinson did in overtime.
Yes.
He went to Larry Brown in the last play of the game and said, hey, look, throw me a lob. I can throw one down on a lob play. Larry Brown looked at us and said, you know what? You just keep thinking like that, but we're running this play for Channing Frye.
Lisa Salters has more on the rookie who just drew the foul guarding Chauncey Billups.
Mike, you mentioned earlier that Nate Robinson's father played college ball and also played in the NFL. Like his father, Nate Robinson also played football and basketball in high school, and he did get scholarships to both to go to college as well. Ultimately, he says it was his father who told him that he had to pick one. And he said his father didn't tell him which sport to pick, just simply that he had to pick one, the one that will make him happy. Robinson said he chose basketball simply because he loves the game.
Arroyo turned it over after Robinson came out, Lisa, and Jamal Crawford able to draw the foul. He does play with a chip on his shoulder, Nate Robinson. He has to because of his size, trying to prove himself in his first month here in the NBA. Knicks in a big hole.
Let's check in on the Bulls and the Celtics. Couple of minutes left. Chicago had the 2-point lead. Ben Gordon creating off the dribble finds Luol Deng for three. Deng had 28 off the bench, 20 for Gordon off the bench. Those two combining for 48 off the bench in the Bulls' victory over the Celtics. Just under 9 minutes to play on our NBA Friday matchup. Detroit with a 16-point advantage over the Knicks. Look at Flip Saunders. He took over a cover that was certainly chock full, and he's done a whole lot with it. The Pistons are 11-2 on the season, the best record in the NBA. So landing on his feet after being bounced from Minnesota after some really nice seasons there. Things had pretty much flattened out for the T-Wolves, and now he's taken over a team with a real shot to go to the NBA Finals. Let's get you back out to the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Maurice Evans, Antonio McDyess, Rasheed Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, and Chauncey Billups on the floor for the Pistons. Jackie Butler joins Channing Frye, Trevor Ariza, Crawford, and Marbury.
The Knicks are down to 41% shooting. And that advantage that they had on the rebounds in the first half has completely disappeared. Now they trail the rebound battle of the boards by 5.
Marty Aronoff, our stat man, reminds us the Knicks are 4 of 21 from the field here in the second half.
Tough to win anywhere at that rate, much less in this building.
Yeah, Rasheed has only taken 2 field goal attempts tonight. Turnover there, Crawford.
Jamal Crawford.
88-74. Knicks obviously trying to come up with a few stops here. Get it under 10 and see what happens in the last half of the quarter as you watch all the NBA scores from tonight go by.
Tough post-entry pass by Chauncey Billups. You got to feed a high post flasher at that situation.
You have a defensive stop, and Ariza gets trapped there in the lane. It got Larry Brown up right away. Here come the starters back in for Detroit. Speaking of the Detroit starters, same starters, most games, 97 since the acquisition of Rasheed Wallace. The next closest, Phoenix, with 68. And obviously they haven't done any this year with Amari Stoudemire being out from the start of the season. Tells you how consistent, how healthy the Pistons have been in their back-to-back Eastern Conference championship runs.
Detroit is one of only 3 teams in this season that has had the same 5 starters in each and every game. Cleveland and Minnesota being the other 2. Cleveland we'll see next with LeBron James.
Hamilton off the miss. You see the Knicks on the complete opposite by starting their 9th different lineup this year. Tops in the league, Jackie Butler. Inside, he hasn't started a game, but that hoop and a couple of defensive lapses have Flip Saunders unhappy, and he's going to stop it as the Knicks have scored the last 7. 88-76. The Knicks make a few more stops and scores and climb back in, make it tight late. Jackie Butler, undrafted out of high school, second year in the league.
NBA Friday on ESPN is brought to you by Best Buy. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours. Now there's one possibility, a Knicks comeback. Well, there's still time, and they haven't let the Pistons run away from them just yet. 7:44 to play in the fourth quarter at the Palace of Auburn Hills, and the Knicks are trailing by a dozen. Yes, the Pistons are number one right now by NBA record. NBA best 11-2 on the season. That was Larry Brown's team a year ago. This year, he's got the Knicks. They're just 5-9 to start this season compared to the 11-2 Pistons, and they've got a little hole to dig themselves out of. It will be Pistons ball. 7:43 to play in the fourth. 88-76. The score at the moment. Detroit with the lead. Send you back out to the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Hug, and the Pistons were a little lethargic at the start of the game. Knicks took it to them. It was tied at 59.5. Third quarter controlled by the Pistons as Larry Brown's team did not play well and cohesive, or the right way, as he liked to say. Outscored 24-8. But the Knicks have scored the last 7. It's 88-76, Lisa Salters.
Mike, Larry Brown just told his very young New York team that has pulled within 12 points here. He just told them, look, guys, it's all about one possession at a time. Don't look ahead. Don't expect anything. Only worry about each individual possession.
Mike, you were talking about the emotional moments here early on. And Isaiah Thomas really set the tone by diffusing it. That bucket will count.
Yep.
But Isaiah, who was not liked when he first left Detroit here, now honored at halftime. He went over and stood right next to Larry Brown at the beginning. That sort of eased everyone's emotions. And then when all the players slowly came over following Rasheed Wallace's lead, it just really sort of put everybody back in their seats and saying, well, what's really going on here? We came for an evening of retribution, an evening of settling old scores, and it didn't turn out that way for the fans. But right now, the Detroit Pistons just playing fabulous basketball.
Chauncey Billups, 8 points, 11 assists. Detroit, excellent shooting throughout the season, continuing here tonight. Crawford on the switch, Wallace.
You can get that shot anytime you want. You're trying to build it back a possession at a time. You drive off, a big man steps out on you, Rasheed Wallace with a gigantic wingspan, and you jack that shot up. I don't know.
Well, I have a good idea from the tone of your response, if you don't know. 12 to shoot. Good matchup. Billups and Marbury here through the night. Chauncey shaken. Frye comes for help. Wallace with the clock running down has to take it. Ben Wallace fighting 3 Knicks, couldn't get the rebound. And here come the blue-clad New Yorkers.
This matchup with the point guards, the foul is called on Rasheed Wallace trying to battle through that screen. But the point guard matchup, Billups and Marbury, are both so athletically gifted, so powerful. But Stephon, who's usually able to just bully his way and get what he wants, not the case against Chauncey Billups, who is bigger, stronger, more disciplined, more under control.
Each team has 4 team fouls.
And Stephon Marbury has no field goals since the first quarter.
Frye along with the release. Nice job by Ariza to keep this one alive. And Frye is fouled by Tayshaun Prince. Hey, if you need a holiday gift idea, give a ball, kid experience, or an autographed basketball. NBA.com or WNBA.com bid on various items and experiences, part of the NBA WNBA Breast Health Auction through December 9.
Channing Frye, always an outstanding facing the basket shooter. Chauncey Billups getting some instructions there from Flip Saunders.
Flip had a very interesting comment about the cohesive nature of this team that he inherited, how they understand self-police in many ways, do so many things together. And he was chatting with another coach in the league as the Pistons were in that town the night before to play a game. Hamilton comes down the lane, shot denied. And that coach said he looked out his window where he lives and he saw 11 Detroit Pistons going out to dinner together. This group likes each other. So the way they play is Jackie Butler cleans that one up to get it back to an 11-point game. The way they play together as a unit with nobody taking the standout selfish role really does carry to how they act away from the basketball court.
Mike, I've been privileged to be on teams like that in my career. I've also had the misfortune of being on other types of teams, and the difference is just unbelievable. Turnover, Chauncey Billups, but there's just no sense of individual selfishness.
Frye draws the foul on Wallace, and the Knicks going to have that chance to get it back under double digits, what we've been talking about. Can they make that move under 10? Foul on Rashid is number 5. Butler got it going on the offensive end.
Detroit continues to switch that with Rasheed Wallace. I don't really know if you need to do that, but that's going to allow all kinds of offensive rebounding opportunities. And then in transition, big men running the floor, Channing Frye, his explosive extension, remarkable because he doesn't look as imposing as he plays.
Down to 10, so Sheed on the bench with 5, as I said. An invisible offensive night, 1 of 3 from the field. Antonio McDyess comes in to replace him at the power forward spot. And the Knicks have it back down to 9 with 5:21 left. A 13-3 New York run getting them back in it.
If you're New York, stay with a disciplined man-to-man defense. See what Detroit can come with an offense without Rasheed Wallace to pass the ball and be the hub of the wheel down low.
Phillips, a 2. What a job by Ben Wallace to go up and get that rebound and keep this possession alive. Now he has Jackie Butler on his hip. Facing, going around him, and drawing the foul. Larry Brown staying with this group that has brought his team back in it here.
Are you old enough to remember when Ben Wallace used to just go to the weak side and just stand there?
It's a couple of coaches ago. It was the Rick Carlisle days.
Well,
it is.
How about when Rip Hamilton told us that Flip Saunders is his 7th coach in 7 years and the only coach he's ever had for 2 years. No, excuse me, Larry Brown was the only coach he had for 2 years. Excuse me.
One more coming here for Ben Wallace. Larry Brown is going to take a timeout here at 22nd as Ben Wallace gets to think about this second one. Ben's offense was liberated a little bit when Larry arrived. He wanted him more involved in the offense and asked him to shoot a little bit more and get him involved in some pick and roll situations, not just be a defender and a rebounder. He's not that offensive top option.
But at least now he's somewhat of a threat.
Yes.
And you have to guard him and not just box him off the boards.
Cavs Sonics send you out to Seattle, where the coffee's brewing. Get you Key Arena for Game 2 coming up as soon as we are done here. Bill, would you stay with Jackie Butler on the floor and maybe think about coming back with a more experienced interior presence at this point in the game? Back within 9 inside of 5 minutes.
Larry Brown is just mixing and matching at every opportunity. There's no real rhyme or reason or rotation with New York right now as he's learning his team, all the road games that they play, which is going to continue through the season, the early parts right now. And it's going to catch up to him in January and February when they have a great home run right now.
All right, let's see what they do here. It's a 9-point game. You figure Crawford or Marbury will want to initiate it. Good job splitting the double by Crawford. Back to a 7-point game. Pistons have looked slower, a step slower on defense here in this fourth quarter.
But the bench now has 52 points, or plus 20, the New York bench, plus 20 over the Knicks starters.
Richard Hamilton, who will run you out of the gym, was sprinting there and able to draw the foul.
Crawford, when that double team comes, you have to make the defensive commitment that your feet come together so that the offensive players can't slice right through the middle.
Crawford 18, we mentioned the big surge he had, so important in the victory over the Bulls. Hamilton, first points of the quarter, 33 on the night.
This Knicks team is certainly a work in progress. And there's no players left on the roster that Isaiah Thomas inherited. He has changed the entire roster in 2 years. And I believe that he's just getting started.
That's a good thing, don't you think?
Well, after 4 straight losing seasons.
I mean, he had no choice and was hamstrung in trying to do it. Frye from the top of the key. Channing Frye, he's a pleasure to watch in college. He's been fun to watch on TV first part of the season. First time I've seen him in person playing an NBA game, and he adds to it. 19 points, 3 boards.
He's one that you can be very safe that will be on this Knicks team for many years to come. Offensive foul.
And now you can get it back down to 5 or 4.
Penetration, draw some defenders. Step into a slot. Hey, team basketball. The guys who are moving it or making it happen, they're winning the games. Detroit, San Antonio, Phoenix, Golden State.
So let's see if the Knicks can get it down to 5 or 4. Jamal Crawford jumping at his players. Get going, start running. Rasheed Wallace came out on Marbury. 10 to shoot. Crawford, good job pulling up on Hamilton, and he fills it up. A 5-point game. Jamal Crawford feeling it here in the 4th quarter. Flip Saunders takes a 20-second timeout. And the Knicks have stormed back. Down 19 1 point here in this second half, back within 5.
Jamal Crawford just looking at Rip Hamilton saying, look, when I come and put it on the on the floor one time and then just jump into the air, there's nothing that you or anybody else who's ever played this game can do about it.
Young teams have so many learning experiences. A 5-point game, 3.5 minutes left. It's a regular season. It counts as 1 win. Wouldn't it be a great boost to this young Knicks team or the younger players in this Knicks team if they could walk in here and steal this one in the last 3.5 minutes?
They're playing better basketball. They've had good stretches. That disastrous run to start the 3rd quarter just really put them in such a huge hole. But when you're trying to build, Larry Brown, he's always thinking, okay, of the little things. Now, there has been improvement on this Knicks squad. Whether it's going to be rapid enough to satisfy the patience of everyone who follows this team, that's another question.
This is off the ball, defensive 3 seconds, and a technical foul on the Knicks. Outstanding free throw shooter, Billups. Actually under 90% coming into this game.
How about Steve Nash? 50 of 51 on the season. They've got a big game tonight against the Denver Nuggets down in the desert of Arizona.
Detroit ball, 14 to shoot. They lead by 6 with 3:13 to go. Game 2 of our doubleheader, Cleveland at Seattle. Ben Wallace hands it back to Tayshaun Prince. Watched by Butler. Comes across the lane, and despite the defensive help from Ariza, Prince gets to 19 points on the night.
They just seem to be able to do it whenever they want to. And when the Knicks were so awful in the 3rd, it seemed as if Detroit stopped playing.
Ben Wallace hoping to draw the foul on Butler. Didn't come. 6-point game again. 2:40 to go.
But with Jamal Crawford, Channing Frye, and Stephon Marbury leading somewhat of a comeback here, the Pistons have had to wake up just a bit longer.
Comes Hamilton off the screen. Ariza read it. Rip now has the second-year man, one-on-one, pulls up and takes it.
Speaking of waking up, I was interested to hear Rip Hamilton talk about how Ben Wallace never sleeps.
Yes, I did talk about that earlier today.
He never sleeps or eats.
Yes, 36 for Rip. Frye is doubled. Oh, Ariza! Wow! Trevor Ariza cleared for takeoff.
Now, that was in Ben Wallace's face, I believe.
A 6-point game has the building buzzing. Hamilton trying to get the comeback and fouled by Butler. Wow. Well, step out for a minute. 1:49 left. Knicks have made it competitive. Trevor Ariza over the Defensive Player of the Year. Didn't stick the landing, but got up way above the cup to throw it down. Knicks have worked their way back in it with this group.
Well, the Sonics and Ray Allen about getting ready to tip off in Seattle tonight, where they will host the Cleveland Cavaliers. Our ESPN Deportes audience will be getting that one just as soon as we're done with the Knicks and the Pistons. Coming down to the final moments. The game reset for you. It's a 6-point Pistons lead. They have 2 full timeouts. The Knicks have just 1. Nobody's got a 20, and there are no fouls to give. 1:49 left. Detroit with a 6-point lead at home, looking for win number 12 against just 2 losses. Going to send you back out to the Palace of Auburn Hills for the final moments of this NBA Friday offering.
Going to be in the near term a major statistical contributor, but when the Knicks are making runs and when they're playing their best ball with great levels of enthusiasm and exuberance, Trevor Ariza is always on the court when that happens.
Hamilton made both. Detroit extends its defense. Detroit is 20 of 24 from the line. Hamilton is 38. That is the high point total for a Piston this year. Marbury fouled on the arm by Billups.
That's just a tough shot selection.
Foul number 1, Chauncey Billups.
Everybody's all over Kobe Bryant's case for how many shots he takes. It's not the number of shots you take, it's the type of shots you take.
At line for the New York
And that one, when you dribble the whole length of the court, Stephon Marbury, and have Chauncey Billups in your face, and then Ben Wallace, and you still shoot, I would think that somebody must be open somewhere.
The foul on Billups was his 5th. Marbury has 1 more free throw coming. 100-93, Pistons lead by 7, minute 35 left. And he knocks both down. See what the Knicks full court defense looks like here.
Trying to deny the possession to Chauncey Billups. He's just too strong. He just bulls his way right through the double team in the backcourt.
That is the thing about Chauncey that always sticks out when you watch him. Strong, physical guard. Prince, what a block by Butler coming over. It's out of bounds off the Knicks. And 11 to shoot.
Chauncey, the block by Butler, who comes from nowhere, that now you would think that might be a foul.
I know the hand is part of the ball. The wrist and forearm.
and the ribs, the hip.
Rasheed Wallace, blocking foul called on the Knicks. So the Knicks can't come up with this key defensive stop to tighten the game up. Ariza picking up that foul with 78 seconds to go.
Just look at how young that front line is, though. Channing Frye, Butler, second-year player, dude. Never got drafted, never went to college. You got Ariza, just 1 year at UCLA.
Rasheed Wallace missing the first free throw here. The old man of the front line is Channing Frye at 22.
As a rookie, isn't it?
Right. Ariza and Butler both age 20.
But second-year players because they didn't go to college.
Trevor 1 year at UCLA, all Pac-10 freshman.
Well, the greatest one-year athlete ever at UCLA, Jimmy Connors.
Was that 1 year? Huh?
College freshman classmates together, Jimmy.
Is that right? Yes. Oh, Wallace misses both. And a foul called on the Knicks, and Stephon Marbury to the ground in disbelief. Larry Brown to the end of the bench in disbelief. Channing Frye whistled for his second foul.
Shooting 2 for Detroit, Ben Wallace.
So Ben Wallace comes to the line. Larry Brown is hugging Chauncey Billups in disbelief over there on the sideline. Here's the foul.
Channing Frye just not ready. Ben Wallace just out-quicks him, out-thinks him, out-works him, and gets a trip to the line here.
And Ben hits both free throws for the first time tonight. 102-94 with 1:14 to go.
Desperation time right now for New York. They're going to need a collapse from Detroit and a miracle on their own side.
Crawford trying to lose Prince, missed it. Gets his own rebound inside of the final minute. Nice take inside on Ben Wallace.
Looking deep. Ben Wallace is wide open, as is Rip Hamilton. What makes it so tough to beat Detroit is that most of their guys who handle the ball all make free throws down the stretch.
Phillips, a 3 with 10 left on the shot clock. A little questionable there. Knicks, can they take advantage? Marbury all the way. Missed it. Butler, the rebound. He's fouled. If that's Rasheed, he's gone.
This guy, James Butler, has been impressive.
It is Rasheed Wallace, who has fouled out here tonight.
Great job by Marbury, who lowers that shoulder. Prince is one of the outstanding shot blockers in transition that I have ever seen.
So Sheed to the bench with a very low output here tonight, just 3.
I anticipated more of an edge from the Pistons tonight. An emotional spirit and drive.
Butler misses that. This was after the foul call. Chauncey Billups was over there having a laugh with Larry about Larry's protestation of the foul call. You know, Larry Brown, because of the way he wears it on his sleeve, very emotional, chased down by the Pistons, has many great relationships with his former player. Rarely do you hear the former Larry Brown player, and gosh, there are hundreds, who have said he was awful to play for. Most of them love what Larry did for them. But his relationship with his guards, as point guards, is so unique and special. And remember that Chauncey Billups' relationship was a lot of tough love when they first got here, and it was almost like Larry the Sage. He'll see the light eventually, and has really made Chauncey Billups into one of the elite team leaders and all-around guards in this league.
Larry Brown is very much like the master chef, who in the kitchen, you look at him and say, what is he doing? What kind of idea does he have here? What is the plan? What are these ingredients? Then all of a sudden, when he puts it on the table, you say, oh, this is really good.
That's what he was trying to do, huh? Frye knocks down. It's a great analogy, Bill. You come up that all yourself? No. 104-98. And the foul was called. I know you did, but it's okay. You saw that second game's underway, Cleveland and Seattle. I'll get you right out to Key Arena as soon as we take the time off the clock here. Hamilton back to the line, chance to get to 40 points. His career high is 44.
One thing that we're seeing in numerous Knicks games is the number of free throw attempts. In the Chicago game, their last game, 57 free throw attempts.
And there's Hamilton to 40, season high. A few shy of his career high. We'll take you to, let's see what we have here. Clock issue. It started before Marbury ever touched the ball, so reset it back to the full amount of time, 18.2.
The Knicks go home and play Boston, their opening night opponent, foil. The Celtics beat Boston on opening night. The Knicks have not played consecutive home games this season.
And then they go on the West Coast for another 3. Crawford the miss. Then they'll get those back-to-back home games finally December 12 and 14. Well, this was the return of Larry Brown. Emotional in some regards. Larry kind of with another look around the building here as time expires and the Pistons win.
So Larry Brown's return to Motown will be unvictorious. The Knicks fall in the hands of the Pistons. SportsCenter's coming up for most of our ESPN audiences. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.